Hello! So I'm Aidan here at XMusic. I'm with KDH.
And I'm with Aidan.
And we're going to be talking about, well, we're going to be talking about piezo pickups. And we've got a couple of guitars here, both with piezos in the bridge. Of course, these are electric guitars. I don't know if any of you eagle-eyed viewers out there noticed that, hold on, piezos, I thought they came on the acoustics and stuff. Well, no, they also come on electrics. But is it as good? Can we do everything in one? And that's what we're here to sort of work out, essentially.
So, Aidan, these are PRS SE Piezo.
The semi-hollow, yes.
Semi-hollows. Now, most people, when they think of piezos, they're thinking of acoustics.
Of course, yeah.
Not too many electric with piezos, but it's starting to become a bit of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think more to the point as well, it's more accessible now. You know, before, especially with something like a PRS branded guitar, you know, you must remember looking at them thinking, oh, they're really expensive. Now, a Hollowbody II, for example, is upwards of 3, 4, 5 grand. You know, whereas in the SE range gives you something not dissimilar that has a piezo in there, and you know, it's niche, isn't it? Let's face it. So to have something at about sort of 1,700 quid-ish gives you something that maybe you don't have to worry too much about in a gig. So is it gonna work? Is it gonna work?
Well, one of the things that I was thinking of is the piezos, the actual technology themselves predates electric pickups, the magnetic pickups. So how they work really is vibrational based, whereas a magnetic pickup is going to pick up the steel strings vibrating. With a piezo, it can pick up vibrations. So you're going to get the acoustic sound of your guitar no matter what type of guitar it is.
Exactly, so obviously these are sort of hollow body guitars. So what it's doing is, instead of, like you said, getting the strings itself, is actually getting the wood and the vibrations. So you've got kind of this bit around here is also going to be picked up. So it's a more natural acoustic sound as opposed to a magnetic pickup. It's going to sound more like an acoustic guitar.
So what I'd like to do is maybe try and pick up the acoustic and see how it compares to the semi-hollow electric.
Let's do it. So for our acoustic of choice, we've gone with the Taylor American Dream, or the AD17. So we've got spruce top. It's actually a very traditional guitar when it comes to acoustics. So spruce top, relatively dreadnought sized. And we're just going to give that a little play and see how that sounds. Beautiful, that. Seamless.
The piezo is loaded in the bridge. In the acoustics case, it's underneath the saddle. So you're gonna pick up the vibrations of the overall guitar, not just the strings like with a magnetic pickup. And that has its practical applications in that guitars are made out of wood. And wood sounds
what?
different.
I'm joking. What? I didn't know.
But wood sounds different, and that is what a lot of guitar players, why they seek out their guitar. Guitars sound different, and with a piezo, you're actually getting the sound of the guitar, the full package, not just one or two aspects of it.
Yeah, so like the strings would be mainly what you're getting from a magnetic pickup,
Yeah,
sort of what you're
the
saying.
strings, you're gonna get the
So if you choose your spruce top and mahogany or sapele or whatever back and sides, as opposed to something that maybe has rosewood back and sides, that piezo is actually going to pick up a different tonal kind of quality.
All right, so now we're going to take a look at the actual comparison between an acoustic with the piezo pickup and our electric semi-hollow guitar with the piezo pickup, and just compare with a simple back and forth between myself and Aidan. So let's get into it.
There we go, that's our comparison. And I would say, in fairness, brighter.
Yes, a
Would you
lot
agree?
brighter. Yeah. Now, of course, there is the EQ to consider. When we're EQing, you know, they are different guitars, of course, but with the piezo, you do have the ability to use tone controls on this particular acoustic. We've got bass and treble, and I believe we've got a tone control as well.
Yeah, I mean, with this, essentially, actually, no, there isn't. With this, you just have sort of your level. So it is set
just the
now.
one setting.
Exactly. And
So you have to rely on the amp, just like with most electrics, really. Now, Aidan, there is obviously a difference between these two guitars. This is very clearly an acoustic guitar, and with that comes some positives and some drawbacks too. Like, for example, in comparison, this guitar is a lot lighter, for one. That's good if you're fond of having a working back. But then you've also got, it's more susceptible to changes in temperature.
well, yeah, it's a more fragile instrument, isn't it? So I suppose, you know, it could, because it's fully hollow. Something to note as well, maybe, is you can buy, I know we're using this one, but you can get electric guitars fully solid with a piezo pickup. Now it will change the tonality of that guitar a little bit, but you've got a more solid guitar. So if you're maybe doing generally an electric gig, but then you just have maybe even just a verse of an acoustic sound, then it kind of makes sense to kind of go for the electric guitar with the piezo. But does it sound as good as an acoustic? Well, you know what? I'm actually genuinely quite impressed. It's not the first time I've played one of these, don't get me wrong, but I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't played one in a little while, and it's pretty blooming there, isn't it?
Like, one of the common misconceptions I think with piezo pickups is that it transforms everything into an acoustic guitar. That's like, you're going in with the expectation that once I flick this switch, this electric
It's an
guitar,
acoustic, yeah.
it's going to be an acoustic guitar, and it's just not going to be. But what it is doing here is getting damn close.
What do you need it for?
What's the job? If you're requiring versatility, you go for the instrument, that's the versatile one. If you need something to do the job, and one job, and do it well, and that's an acoustic, you hands down you go for the
Buy an acoustic.
Just get an acoustic.
We are really solving all of the issues that are not the most pressing issues,
No.
but issues nonetheless.
What are you looking for? Well, if it's an acoustic, get an acoustic.
Do you want an acoustic? Get an acoustic. Wow, really solving everything, aren't we?
Well, it's funny, you know, we are stating the obvious here, but a lot of people, again, the misconception of putting a piezo on electric, people think and expect it to turn into an acoustic.
Yes.
Now, this one, more than others, is going to get close. It's the semi-hollow.
Because it's semi-hollow?
Yes. So you've got some aspect of acousticness in there. It's not going to sound the same when you put that on the solid body, as we discussed earlier. But when it comes to versatility, hands down, I'd be going for an electric with a piezo, because most of
Agreed.
them, this one included, come with the ability to get your magnetic pickups in too. And that's giving you a whole other section. You could, if you wanted to, run to two different amps, or run your piezo to the PA desk and run your electric sound to your amplifier. You could put effects on your electric sound or your piezo sound, whatever you'd prefer. You've got a lot more options here.
Well, you're absolutely right, and there it is. You've got your sort of mix of either having sort of a bit both. Camera one, camera two, camera one, camera two. So you've got a mix of, or you can just have it as, hey, do you want an electric guitar? That's fine, but you might want to run that then just to the desk.
And in fact, I believe you can actually mix currently. You can roll in your volumes. You can just do one input.
Dude, if I go... That's everything running. Whereas if I want it just to be the magnetic, I can just choose the other option, and vice versa.
Alright, so to conclude, what guitar with piezo do you want to require? Well, it's all down to your needs. An electric with a piezo, like a piezo is going to be used for clean tones. It's not for your high gain stuff. It's not for your metal or new metal or thrash metal or death metal or black metal or...
What other kind of metals can you...
iron, steel...
Beautiful, look at that, loves a pun.
Well, the genre does depend on what guitar you're going to go for.
100%, yeah.
But the best thing I find with an electric with the piezo, it's the one thing that the acoustic can't do, is the quick flick of a switch, roll of a pot, whatever it is, go from your piezo, your clean, your beautiful cleans.
Yeah.
Like let's be real. It sounds great in the room, and they do hold their own against the acoustics. But it's that instant change, or very close to instant change, between an acoustic sound straight in to an electric, and many songs have that. You go from the nice ballad clean straight into a roaring solo.
You need an electric guitar with a little bit of clean stuff, but that sounds like an acoustic. Then you know what, piezo isn't a bad way to go. But if you're just doing an unplugged set of some description,
then a few songs that are just purely acoustic,
just pick up the acoustic, man. But it will sound great. But at the end of the day, yeah, if it's the practicality that maybe you're just taking one guitar, cool, maybe get one of these. But if it's just mainly acoustic, get an acoustic. There we go.
That's it.
Another Mystery Soul scoop.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks a lot. See you in a bit. Whoa, hold on, just before you go, sorry, I'm really new to this. So don't forget, like, share, subscribe. If you've got any questions or anything, obviously do comment below. Other than that, check out this fella. He's only got his own blooming YouTube channel, hasn't he? KDH.
And there's a brand new video about XMusic on that channel right now, going through some of the guitars, talking to some of the guys who work there, and yeah, some of these guys. And so go check that out. And I guess we should say goodbye. Bye.
See you in a bit. Bye.